Coming up on This Week in Procurement, AI budgets are moving, media dollars are flowing, and agencies are spending on everything from childcare to branded merchandise. If you've been waiting for the right moment to get in front of a government buyer, this is it. We have 5 opportunities that you can move on, plus a quick positioning play for your lane. Welcome to This Week in Procurement, your weekly outlook on state, local, education, and government contracting opportunities. I'm your host, Abby Souffrant. Let's get into the top 5 opportunities that stood out this week. First up, out of the state of Maryland, we have an artificial intelligence service contract. This is not a full-scale AI deployment. It's a targeted engagement, likely a pilot or a project that's in works. So the scopes include AI strategy, tool integration, automation, and data solutions with a budget between $25,000 and $50,000. This is a great fit for our AI consultants, boutique tech firms, and SaaS providers who work with public sector clients. This signals that the government agencies are actively testing AI adoption, and smaller vendors have a real shot at the table before the big players lock in. Next up, out of the state of Oregon, which actually Portland specifically, we have a child care service contract. Now this is not a one-time purchase, this is an ongoing essential service contract. The scope includes child care program management, staffing facility oversight, as well as compliance. This is a great fit for our licensed child care operators, nonprofit organization, as well as early education providers that already have embedment in their local communities. Now this signals that agencies are doubling down on workforce support infrastructure, and recurring contracts like this one rarely go away once they're awarded. Next up, out of the state of California, we have a media consulting service contract with a budget up to $3.6 million. Now, this is not a small campaign boost. This is a major, potentially multi-year media engagement. So make sure y'all listen in. The scope includes media strategy, communication planning, content production, and campaign management. It's a great opportunity for PR firms as well as full-service media agencies. And those of you who may have some background in strategic communication, this will be a great fit for you as well. Now, this signals that California is heavily investing in public-facing messaging, and the dollar figure tell you that they want results. They're just not looking for deliverables. Next up, out of the state of Colorado, we have a promotional items, branded apparel, and merchandise service. Now, this is not one of those order one time and then we're done. They have a very broad scope that suggests ongoing procurement relationships. So some of the items that are listed in the scope are custom merchandise, branded gear, print services, as well as fulfillment. This is great for our production and promotional product vendors, our print shops, and branded merchandise suppliers with government experience. Now this signals that Colorado agencies are consolidating their branding purchasing under a single vendor with a wide scope, which means that there's room for a supplier who can handle large volume across multiple categories. Next, out of the state of New York, actually in Little Falls specifically, there's a professional real estate market valuation service. Now this is not a large metropolitan opportunity, and it works in your favor. So let's go over the scope real briefly. They're looking for property appraisal, market analysis, valuation reports, and compliance documentation. This is great for our licensed appraisers and real estate consultant firms with a regional footprint. And so what this signals is that smaller jurisdictions are actively seeking specialized expertise. And if you're licensed and local, you have a geographic advantage that larger firms can't replicate. Now for our tip of the week, you have to have a strategy before you start applying for these opportunities. They come out by the thousands, and if you don't have a strategy in place, you'll find yourself working longer hours and not winning bids. Let's take a look at our big map. From March 13th to the 19th, agencies released a high volume total of 28,000 new contract opportunities nationwide. That volume in a single week tells you 2 things. Buyers are not slowing down, and the window to position early is shorter than most vendors think. The top categories that are driving activity across this spectrum across the nation include software and facility maintenance. So the combination of two are suggesting that they are managing operations while simultaneously investing in modernization. So the demand is real, the dollars are moving, and vendors who show up prepared are the ones who are going to win. Now let's take a look over on the East Coast. The East Coast is balancing enterprise services demand with steady technology investment. This region is actively buying across general support services, software solutions, maintenance and repair, as well as admin consulting. So states like Massachusetts and areas like DC are both leading in general service procurement, reflecting a high admin volume that's typical of capital and major metropolitan markets. Then you look over to Pennsylvania and they're pushing really hard into software and signaling a significant technology refresh, as well as an implementation project that is underway across the entire state agency. The signals on the East Coast are suggesting that buyers are managing dual mandate. They want to keep operations running while upgrading their digital backbone. And vendors who can speak both continuity and modernization will be well positioned for future opportunities. Heading over to the South is driving technology modernization along broad service outsourcing. So this region is showing nearly equal demand in software and general service contracts, with facility maintenance rounding out the top three categories for this region. Texas is the largest market in this region, and it's on top priority for software, pointing to scale government technology projects across multiple agencies. Florida is focused on broad operational outsourcing. This signals that Southern buyers are investing for growth. Population expansion is putting pressure on public systems, and vendors who understand scale and compliance will find strong footing in this region. Heading over to the Midwest, they are prioritizing operational stability and digital infrastructure. So the top categories are general services and software, with maintenance and repair in steady rotation, a pattern that reflects a region focusing on keeping foundational systems current rather than chasing transformation for its own sake. So Ohio and Michigan are both leading with software procurement, pointing towards government and education technology modernization across the industrial heartland. Illinois rounds out the regional picture with strong general services demand, reflecting Chicago's outsized public sector footprint. This signals that the Midwest buyers are making deliberate, budget-conscious investments, and vendors who demonstrate reliability and long-term support capacity will resonate the most. And finally, heading over to the West Coast, they are the most active region this week, so I wanted to make sure we highlighted enough of them this week. Across the buying area, it's a wide range of categories on the West Coast. We have general services, which really dominates a great majority of the opportunities this week. They're followed strongly by software and maintenance, a combination that reflects scale and diversity of California's public sector alone. So California leads with a couple thousand opportunities and the largest single state volume nationwide. So its demand is very broad, spanning across agencies with very different operational needs. Colorado and Washington are both active in general services as well, reinforcing that outsourced vendors is consistent with procurement themes across the region. This signals that the West Coast agencies are managing complexity at volume. Vendors that have the flexibility for delivery and the ability to handle multiple agencies under one agreement have a significant advantage in this region. Now let's head over to our Dear Abby segment. Dear Abby, how do I know if a contract is worth bidding or just a time waster? That's a great question, and I'm so glad that you asked that. There are 4 things that we need to take into account before we even decide to proceed with bidding on a contract. 1, do we match all of the scope that they are requiring? Do we have past performance that can vouch for the work that we are doing? Do we have the infrastructure that is able to handle this project as we wait for the government to pay us? And do we have enough time to respond to the proposal? Those 4 things are things that you want to take into account before you say, yes, we are going to proceed with putting out our proposal for this bid. There is no rush to put out for these opportunities. Many of them circle back many times over. But if you feel rushed to complete an opportunity, unless it was one that you were signaled to respond to, I would say just put it to the side and look at those that are coming down the pipeline. If you want clarity on your next best steps, take our government contracting readiness assessment. And if you want weekly structure and access to our top 5 contracts, as well as other handpicked contract opportunities, join us in the Under Contract Academy. That's it for this week on This Week in Procurement. Remember, opportunities are everywhere. I'm Abby Souffrant, and I'll see you next week.